Welcome back to the Leaders Talk Podcast, where I'm your host, Jacob Hidong, and I talk to leaders from every industry, from athletes to CEOs to pastors to the people that you admire most. My job is to uncover their story so you can take a piece of everybody's success and apply it to your own. But today I have a special guest, Jose Leon Jr., three-star wide receiver out of Columbus High School, currently committed to App State, but you're in a very interesting point in your career right now because you got a lot on the line senior year, coming back for winning states junior year, but more importantly, you're kind of underrated still. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting the respect that you really deserve after having a breakout junior year, after making all these plays in the camp, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover all that and then where your mind's at with all this. So I'd like to start off with the most important question ever. Coke or Pepsi?
I'm gonna go Coke. Coke.
You know, a lot of people say Coke are for old heads, so
I'm
you don't think
old
that?
School. Nah, I'm a little old school. I think it's generic. I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, it doesn't go wrong. Like any meal goes with a Coke. But then the follow-up I have with that, late night, yeah, with the boys, right? Saturday, Friday night. Only two things open, McDonald's and Burger King. Which one you going to?
I gotta go to McDonald's.
Everybody's saying that. Now, you know, they say that because they get the app and they get the free stuff from the app. So I don't know if that's...
Just a kid, like as a kid, you just grow up on McDonald's. If you're a Burger King fan, you're a little suspect to me, but I don't know.
But since now we got the most important questions out the way, I want to start off from the beginning. Talk a little bit about your background, your upbringing. Was it hard? Was it easy going? What did your parents teach you?
Early, it was my dad. He was the one that really introduced me to football. And I stayed at a park, Tamiami Park, not too far from here for a long time. And then my last year of Little League football, I went to Miami Gardens Ravens, which is a very known team because we probably got over 30 stars on that team, maybe over like 200 total offers. Just a lot of dogs on that team.
Yeah.
So quickly, like from that first day of practice, it was just a whole new level. I came from being the best player in my park at 10 years old to playing with 5 stars that were, you know, really, really good. So it elevated my game, and I think that was the most important aspect in my career, that 1 year of Little League, going to Miami Gardens Ravens.
And you win the year that Jeremiah, Chance, all these people?
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, Chance Robinson.
So you were on that team?
McCoy. I was on that team, yeah, that last year, 13 year.
What did you learn from being on that?
It was like more being like a dog. It wasn't the skill I always had, but they taught me that the game was more mental than I thought. And they pushed me a lot to be a better player, and the aspect of like closed mouths don't get fed. That's one lesson I learned super quick. I was very quiet and timid, and they told me if you want to play football, you know, you gotta play with that dog, that it's me versus you, and you're gonna try to embarrass me and I gotta try to embarrass you, and there's no friends on the football field.
Damn, that's real. We started out strong, for real.
Yeah.
So that's really what you took from that, playing on that team?
Yeah, a lot of mental stuff.
So now fast forwarding a little bit, your high school career. I really want to mention, because you had a breakout junior year, like we talked about. How many TDs you ended up with? Like
12.
12 TDs. You're balling out of the camps now, but it feels like you're still not getting the attention. Like you have the spotlight on you, but you know what I'm saying? Like that, all the attention is still not there. I mean, does that affect with you, like mentally? How do you go about that?
I think it helps me. I think that when I see that, you know, I'm still being underrated and underlooked at, and you know, I'll see the comments of people still doubting me. I look at that and I'm like, it still gives me more room to push. I still got people to prove, and I'm nowhere near my peak. I can still get bigger, faster, stronger, smarter. So I think when I see all of that, I think it elevates my game even more.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it gives you like a chip on your shoulder.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how did you, I know you said you talked about playing with the Ravens, but how really did you get to the position of being athletic, making these plays? Like, how did you get to that position? Was there work that you put in that other people weren't? Like, what was it that got you to?
Well, I played running back my whole life, and this is probably like my 4th year playing receiver. So I think the best part of my game is when I have the ball in my hands, like I don't think anybody can tackle me. So I think a lot of receivers, they'll just focus on route running and, you know, just catching the ball, but like that yak and the yards after the catch and, like, you know, making separation, I think that's what makes me different. So I think playing running back my whole life, I think that was like me switching to receiver, and the running back really translated into my, you know, receiving career, and I think that's what.
Yeah. That's what so it's kind of like your competitive advantage, like that you had that other people didn't. So when you got the ball, I mean, you see that because you had a lot of. against Central, against Northwestern. As soon as you get the ball, you just...
Yeah, I slip through and I get out of there. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's a coincidence about that. But kind of moving on a little bit. Like I said, you're in an interesting position because you're still being underrated. You have a lot to prove your senior year.
Yeah.
But were there ever any times of doubt? I know you said it gives you a chip on your shoulder, but like, has there ever been a moment that, damn, like, is this for me?
Absolutely. Actually, with the Ravens, I've never told anybody this, but I quit football for like good 3 weeks. Like after the season, I told my mom, like, I don't know if this is for me. Like, this is a lot. And it was just because they had broke my confidence. And it sounds bad, but it changed my life because I wasn't the best player on that team yet. You know, I wasn't myself yet. I was still like learning of who I was. And I was just like, it was just a lot of stress, and like mentally it was just draining me.
Yeah.
And then my mom, like, she had came up to me and she was like, I know that this is for you, and you don't know it yet. So she kind of like brought me back, and like slowly but surely, like just me and her talking, like I was like, you know, like I love football, and like I'm gonna keep it going. But yeah, that was a moment in my career where I had actually stopped playing football because I had lost all my confidence.
Yeah.
And
the confidence, I'm guessing that's from being behind all these 5 stars and you thought you didn't have what it
Absolutely.
took. So you just needed someone to like kind of believe in you and say, hey, you know what, like you could do that if you stick down the path.
Absolutely. Without my mom, I don't know where I'd be at.
Yeah, actually describe a little bit your relationship with your mom, because I know off camera we were talking that she was your biggest supporter, but...
Yeah, my dad, like he's like tough on me. He shows me like that dad love, but my mom, like every time she sees me down, like we have the closest relationship. Like we call every day, we make sure we talk every night. Like I really believe that my mom is like my best friend.
Yeah.
So.
And it's always important to have someone in your corner, because like you said, there's gonna be times where you're down, like and you need someone to pick you up, and those are the moments that make or break us. But I want to talk about it. You talk a lot about UM.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you committed to Upstate. I'm not going to say anything else from that. But what does it mean to have the chance to play back at the crib?
So I tell everybody, like, the crib was like, you know, it's my dream school. I used to have UM hanged up everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, there's legends that come out of Miami. So like, definitely like staying home always was in my head. But the crib's a great college, and I know they're gonna step it up this year, and I know they're gonna surprise a lot of people, and I'm just excited to see that.
Yeah, and also I saw I don't know, you saw the 305 Sports that they did the next Julian Edelman. Like, what was your mind at when you saw that? Like, you saw like finally someone was like giving you the spotlight. Like, damn, like Julian Edelman. But like, what did it make you feel like?
It was good. It was like comparing me to, like, you know, I think Julian Edelman is a legend in my book.
100%.
So like seeing me being compared to already like a legend like that, like I was like, now more people than just my corner are believing in me. I got you know a lot of supporters now, which I'm really grateful for every single one of them.
Yeah. And outside of football, you know when coaches tell you like, yo, it's a lot deeper than football, and then the moment like you taking a knee after practice, you're already tired. Like, bro, shut up, coach. Like, I already got it. Now you can look back a little because you're at the point where you're about to commit to a college, you're about to go to a college, you're about to be your own man. You live in the mountains now, right?
Yeah.
But what does it mean when coaches tell you that it's deeper than football?
Sometimes I'd be like, you know, like football is my life. I wake up and all I do is football. I go to football practice. I'll go home, rest a little. I go back to like training. Yeah. So like sometimes like in the beginning it was hard to get that through my head, you know, because I was just like football's all I do. But I understand what they mean about like education. Like I always make sure I got my grades right. You know, making sure like my family's okay. You know, like making sure my friends are all right.
Yeah.
So like I understand what they're saying, but truthfully, like I know football's for me, and you can clip this because I know I'm going to the league, and I know football was made for me. Yeah. Like that's what I'm supposed to do.
So you're an athlete student, not a student athlete.
No,
you're not at first.
I'm a student athlete, but football's for me. That, like,
yeah,
that's my calling.
Yeah.
So.
And do you think, since actually going back to your mom, that she instilled in you in that confidence, from then, was it like a for sure thing? Like, no. Like now for sure I know that I'm making it to where I want to get.
Like I like after that day that I quit, like I knew I would never like get that low in my life. Like I know from that moment on it was only up. Yeah. And like it was just building my confidence every day, and I think I'm very confident in my skills. Yeah. And you know, just the work that I put in, that's what makes me confident. So I know definitely I'll never be back to that low
Yeah.
of a confidence
Yeah.
breaker.
Like you're not gonna give in to that low, because obviously we're
Exactly.
always still gonna have lows, but it's about giving into it, and not actually like, damn, I'm gonna beat myself up and
Not
quit on
giving
it.
up and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I know you talked about right now that you said you want to make it. Bro, these freaking flies. I know you said you wanted to make it to the league, and that's really where your mind is set. So I was gonna ask you, like, what was your goal with all this? Because I mean, committed to a college, you got the stars, you got the offers, you got all the attention. Like, what's your goal with this?
So before it was just free education, because a lot of people told me, that's probably not gonna happen. That's really hard,
Yeah.
So like once I'm committed to a Division I school and like all I have to do is keep my head right and I have free college. Like now I know like going to the league is like very important for me, but I don't want to go to the league and just be a bust. Like when I go to the league, I want to be a legend. I want to be somebody that's remembered. I don't want to just go in there and be a role player. So.
And how do you think you're gonna be a legend?
Personally, I think if you score, that's how you win games. So that's what I love doing. So I'm just gonna go into the league and score as many times as I can, and no one can really say anything.
That's good. So. I think it's the simplicity, because you can complicate something that's very straightforward. Man, you're good. You score touchdowns, you're a legend.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying, man? Bro, I gotta do this. I'm gonna work like 2 days. I gotta go this. I'm gonna do cryotherapy. I'm gonna do this.
Exactly.
But you score, you're good. So I like that you keep it simple.
Yeah.
Nice and short. But now reflecting back, because achieved a lot of success, freshman year, sophomore year. Who was Jose freshman and sophomore year?
It was a lot of learning. I had to sit behind like a couple of seniors, and like that made it like nerve-wracking, because I'm like, man, like now I got 2 years to really make it happen. You get me? So, but it was definitely like I learned a lot from my like seniors that graduated. I learned a lot from my coaches. So it was a lot. I played freshman I played varsity as a freshman. So immediately I was like with the bigger kids, and they taught me a lot, and like to be a better person, like how to be a good leader, things with like just receiver routes and footwork. So I would definitely give a lot of credit to like my coaches and seniors as I was coming up.
Yeah. And talking about that, becoming a leader, what was some of the the ingredients that they gave you of becoming a good leader?
They taught me to be more vocal, because I like to lead by example, but a lot of my coaches told me like when you're the one that's scoring the touchdowns and you're the one that's leading the team in that role, you have to take on another role, and you have to tell your teammates like this game's for fun, but like you have to believe in one of each other.
Yeah.
And they sat me down in the room and they were like, we need you to be a leader this year, and we need you to push your teammates and things like that. So that's one thing that they installed in me, like just to be more vocal and not to like lead by example, but to cheer them on and like tell them like we got
to get
this.
the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now, looking back again, right? What's an experience that, it could be outside of football too, that you look back on? Something like what happened with the Ravens, that you were low in your life, but you learned the lesson from that. All right, I'm never gonna get that low again. What's an experience like that you experienced in your life, that you remember the lesson every time that you think about it?
Let me think.
Yeah, it's always like one that you gotta think for a little bit.
I would say a lot, like being injured. When I was young, I had broke my wrist. And when I broke my wrist, like I had gotten like, I still loved football, but I got like really low where I was like, I kind of like blamed football, and I had like blamed a little bit like God too. I was like, like football was going great, and I was like everything was going great, and then like why, like if I'm doing good and I'm treating everybody good, like why would I break my wrist? I mean, I was so confused. It was a young age, so I was just confused like why did that happen? And then it was like this kind of more like religious, but like I had realized like my relationship with God like wasn't like complete yet. Like I always had like something missing. So then like I started blaming him, and then one of my cousins, like she's very religious, and she like like showed me like how everything's for a reason. And then after when I broke my wrist, like I had like started working out a lot, and my wrist actually got like really strong, and I started like doing like crazy one-handed catches like at a young age with that hand. And then like she came to my game and she was telling me like, you see, like you broke your wrist because like God was telling you like you're not strong enough yet, like you break it now so he can protect you for later. And that's one thing that I had learned, that like everything's for a reason, like not everything's a coincidence, like everything happens for a reason, and God has a purpose for everything in your life. So.
Yeah, that's real. Actually, we're talking a lot about that off camera, and it's funny because of how you said it, that your relationship with God was like, you knew that it could be improved. And it's funny how it says it in the Bible, like you have to seek God first and then the rest will be added.
Exactly.
And it's interesting they say it because you're living proof of it. It just happened. So now I want to make a prediction. I want you to make a prediction. I know TJ last year, he made a prediction you guys will win states.
Mm-hmm.
You guys won states. So I hand it over to you. What's your prediction for your guys' season this year?
We're going to be the first ever team in Columbus history to go back-to-back and win a state championship.
It's a big prediction.
Nah, it's not a prediction. It's going to happen. Trust me.
Oh my gosh. Yo, I
it.
like this. I like this confidence.
Don't even worry about it. Trust me.
That's real. That's real. So, for the athlete out there listening, right, wants to be like Jose, wants to be that person that he's underrated right now, but he's good. He's behind a couple stars, or maybe even that entrepreneur, just starting out their business, been like a year, and they've seen some traction, but they're not where they want to be at yet. What's your advice to that person on reaching their version of success?
I would think that sometimes if everything's going okay, then maybe something's wrong. If everybody likes you, then there's something wrong. There has to be some people that hate on you, or there has to be doubters. There has to be people that don't believe in you, because that's like living proof of like that should be your motivation. Like when people look for motivation, like if you go look for haters, you're gonna find them. If you go look for doubters, there's gonna be people that doubt.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that they should use. Obviously, work hard. If you put in the work, like the results will always come, no matter what. And you can't be like everybody else. If you do all the other actions that everybody else in the world is doing, then you're gonna get the results that they're doing.
Yeah.
If you do 99% of what everybody's doing, that's the results you're gonna get. But if you're doing that 1% where nobody else is doing it, that's when you get the different results.
Yeah.
And that's when you go far. So that's what I would tell the entrepreneurs and like the little kids that wanna be the next great.
Yeah, for sure. That's that quote. I think it's probably not from Instagram, but the thing that you see on Instagram is like, you do what others aren't doing, so you can get what others don't have.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So.
Exactly.
So now to wrap it up, to put the ribbon on the, I always say you ever been to like a museum and you have like a fossil that has sand on it and you kind of gotta dust it off? That's what we're doing with your story. We're dusting it off. We're on the tail right now, right?
All right.
To finish up, to wrap it up, what does faith mean to you? Like, I know you mentioned that oh my gosh, bro. I know you mentioned that you need to fix your relationship with God after you broke your wrist, but what does faith mean to you now?
Faith is like super important, because I think believing in something that like you can't see, I think that's the ultimate like goal. Like going to the NFL, like everybody's like, I'm a work to go to the NFL, but you may work your whole life and you don't really know if you're gonna get there. Or like with God, like we can't see God, we can't talk to God, but yet we have to put all our faith even though we can't see him and talk to him. Like I think that's very strong of us as people, that we can believe in something that we can't see. Everybody can believe in that tree right there. Like you can see that tree, it's there, but believing something that's not there, I think that's very important. And I think that'll take you places in life when you believe in things that you can't
100%.
see.
Yeah, 100%. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys made it tonight, because definitely a special one. You're very wise, a lot of wisdom with you.
Yeah.
You spoke a lot of truth, how you overcame some of your low moments, how you moved past it, knowing what's gonna come in the future. Kind of like saying what you know right now, that you see it already, but you believe in it. So it's not like, exactly, you have faith in it. Walk by faith, not by sight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to see the young man that you're becoming, right? Senior year, you got a lot to prove. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna have this interview back when you're in that college, like your tipping point of college. You're about to get to elite, and be, hey, you know what? You still got faith. Like, you're about to get into elite. So we're gonna have that same conversation. But it was definitely great. Hope you guys took something from it and applied it to anything that you do. And anything else you wanna leave off on?
Just believe in God, and just work hard, and everything will fall into its place.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the season 2. You got a 2-peat.
Absolutely.
3-peat, 4-peat. It can keep going. It can keep going. There's no limit. It's not only a 2-peat.
I believe in my young guys. I believe in my young guys.
Exactly. But thank you guys so much for making it to the end. Thank you so much, and see you guys on the next one.